Hi, Scott Wilson here. Hey, welcome back to the Marketing for Business podcast. Hey, look, this is another one of our 100 episodes. I'm matching two people together today, another double episode. You're going to love this one. I've got Mike James from Novus. Mike and his brother Tim run Novus New Zealand, and they really have created a success story. And you know me, success leaves clues. In this, when I asked Mike his best business advice, it shows some real thinking around how to position your product, but also how to have leadership that filters down inside your organization so that everyone is selling the same solution, selling the same story, but using their own skill sets, their own people skills to really grow and add value to what the company is doing. So this is a real good one. It doesn't matter whether you employ no people or hundreds of people. This is an episode you want to listen and get the real insights of what it takes to grow, a big business in New Zealand, a multi-location franchise around New Zealand. So you're really going to love Mike's insights there. And then I've got Paul Wright. Paul Wright was one of the founders of Harcourts here in New Zealand. And Paul really shares what it takes to grow again, but the one thing you need to grow. And he got it from a Gilbert Enoka, which once again, success leaves clues, was the most capped All Black without playing, but he was the guy behind the mental skills side of the All Blacks for so many years, helping them, generate the success that they had. So Gilbert gave them one idea. I'm not going to tell you what that one idea is. You actually have to listen to the episode. But that was the difference between, taking an idea to expanding it into over 800 offices globally with Harcourts. So great episode. Look forward to hearing and getting comments. So many people messaging me saying, hey, thanks for sharing these episodes, these double episodes. It's really good to get, that 20 minutes of really good information that I can then go and use in my business. So really appreciate all the feedback we're getting. Okay. All you need to do, listen to the episode and then share the episode. Share it with someone else. And I really appreciate people doing that. People are sharing it with their brothers even, even their colleagues, etc. To let more people in on some of these really good common sense things that these guys and girls are sharing. All right, look forward to your comments. Until then, have fun, and as always, take action. Right, James, welcome back to the Marketing for Business podcast.
Thanks, Scotty. Pleasure to be here.
I think you actually were the third person to get interviewed. Now we're hitting 100 episodes. So this is the 100th episode. I've been asking business owners to help other business owners out. What's your best business advice?
Well, it's a toughie, but I think I'll relate it back to our company, Novus, and that is to know what you're selling.
Yeah, nice.
And have your people know what you're selling. So that we sell solutions. We get thousands and thousands of reviews every year.
Yeah, totally.
Not one of them says, I got a great windscreen. What a lovely windscreen.
yeah.
They all say, what fantastic people.
Yeah.
The CSRs, the people on the front desk were fantastic.
Nice.
They listened to me.
Yep.
They solved my problem, pick up, drop off, that sort of thing. The technicians explained what they were going to do, but no one says, I got a lovely windscreen.
Yeah, but
that's what we sell, and that's what people think we sell.
Yeah.
Repair and replacement. What we sell is solutions.
Yeah.
Getting your people to know that everyone that rings us or comes in has a problem.
Yeah.
And we have to solve it.
How good.
And it can be different for everybody. In a sense, it can't be too different, but how can we help you?
What a great way to set up the mindset of everyone in the team, okay, here's, because everyone does come to your place with a problem, don't they,
Absolutely.
And they're a little bit annoyed as well, because, something's happened, maybe they had a crack in the windscreen or something's broken or whatever. So you if you really think about it, you're on the back foot to start with, right? So having the team having that mindset, really understanding that you're in customer service, you're there to help them solve their problem.
Yeah.
It does set up your team for success in such a way, because at the end of the day, if we want that problem solved, you guys step in and you know exactly what you need to do.
Yeah. So it is. It's about taking that problem away. And, all the different personalities are within your company. You want to empower those people to be able to express their personality and deal with each client as they see fit. But again, it's just about people come back because they dealt with good people.
Yeah.
You know, look at shopping, look at retail. If people are just selling jeans, you can go and buy them anywhere. If you just compare, then you start comparing them.
Yeah.
Well, why not shop online? But, you know, I had a great experience with it and buying some shoes, some Skechers. And there's lots of Skechers shops. This was a couple of years ago, but the young person in the shop was so amazing that I only go back there.
And the cool thing these days, you don't have to actually do too much to stand out because most people have lost that art, right? I had the same similar experience buying some skis and some boots recently. And went to Darfield to get them from Gnomes. But the service was, and the interesting thing is we were told to go there because the service would be good.
That's right.
You know, so people tell us to go there, then you go there and then your experience, you know, like you know, they're not in the game of just selling skis and that. Well, that's what they end the end product. But end of the day, the service is what keeps them, you know, alive.
And I heard a great one which relates to that just the other day, and it's something about branding. What is your brand? Your brand is what people say about you when you are not there.
Yeah, powerful stuff. Right?
You were told Gnomes was fantastic.
Yeah, by
someone that had a great experience, and you went there.
Yeah. So
that's the brand.
And like we went in actually not looking to buy, funnily enough. We went in looking to hire, and then we went over and they showed us some of the technology, and we were like, well, you know, why wouldn't we? We want to get more into skiing, so let's do it. So then we went through this process, and this process was it was 2 hours. But at and that's one of the interesting parts too, at no stage did you think you were getting sold to. They were helping you along the way. And I thought that was a really good reminder for people to you know, you take all your agendas off the table and just actually help them get what they want, right? Which is very cool. What are some of the I guess some of the pitfalls or some of the barriers to that when you have that sort of strategy going on in a business? Is there anything, because I know you have to deal with a lot of personalities, but like, what are some of the, you know, the downsides to it, or are there none?
I don't really see any. If you listen rather than talk initially, then you understand where that person's at, what their problem is, and you can solve it step by step without them even, as you say, thinking that they're being sold to or anything like that. Because we're not selling. When they ring or come to see us, they've already got a problem. You don't pop into you know, a glass shop or for a chat. Yeah,
but your game, like your game now, is very technical. You know, like windscreens have become very technical. So like a cost of your business is obviously training now.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. But you know, getting back to your point, we try and educate each customer in a small part every time so that they understand what their cameras are, the recalibration, the ADAS features are, why they can't drive their vehicles straight away because the glues that hold them in have to set to the minimum safety standard. And once people understand that, you give them a little bit, they can't really say disregard it and go for the cheapest where they don't know what's going to happen. No one's taking the time because they don't care because they are just selling windscreens or parts. Whereas, you know, we like to go above and beyond with that, and that's why people come back. And they do come back.
And because they know they've had that good experience, and also once again other people tell other people about it, so you get more people coming in indirectly or directly because of it too, right? It's just it's just part of that whole bigger picture that really does add up, you know. And so then the game, I guess, then for you is hiring the right people with good attitudes, getting people with the right kind of frame in mind to grow that.
Attitude's everything, and that goes down to technicians. We can train a technician. We can train someone with the right attitude to be a great technician. You take an experienced technician with a less than desirable attitude, it's very difficult to change the attitude. That's and that rubs off on the customers. Consumers.
It all flows down as well, right? Like that's just But I think also it goes the opposite way. If the leadership looks to set the tone at the top, it does filter into, and the standards are set, right? And I think that's something you really need to look at. If you're getting some bad reviews and everything inside your business, it's not just the team at the front that's causing that, right? It sets at the top, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, that goes back to, you know, children watch what you do as a parent. Rather than what you say, they watch what you do.
Yeah.
And they mimic what you do.
Yeah.
So it's the same through all walks of life. You know, if management doesn't portray the company in the right light and do walk the talk, then why would everyone else?
Yeah. Yeah, because the standards being, well, the bar's so low. And I think that's the opportunity for businesses too, you know, like especially in times that are tougher, you know, you can really sharpen up some of those areas. And I think one point that comes to you have to do care. You have to care about the clients and the outcomes. You know, you really have to know who pays your bills at the end of the day too.
Absolutely.
Right?
You know, you need to be passionate about what you do every day for 8 hours when you go there.
Yeah, yeah.
Why would you, if you don't like it, how could you be passionate?
Yeah.
It's the whole, not sure about the words, but, you know, culture of the company.
Yeah.
Has to filter down every part of that company.
Yeah. And I think that's the exciting part when you get people that are enthused about doing what they're doing, you know, like they don't just see themselves putting in a windscreen, they see themselves helping this person and solving a problem and actually making a difference. Then you know you're winning the game, right?
Well, yeah, you know, all goes back to people like doing business with good people.
Yeah. And
you do better business with people you like.
Yep.
And that filters down into the company. If everyone's getting on and the culture's good, it just grows naturally.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Great. Sound advice. Got any other good advice?
Ooh, what's great advice in sales? No doesn't mean no.
Yeah. Well, especially now, loads of people say no, and loads of people take it as face value. You know, one thing I've learned is to always follow up with the value. You know, so don't ring up and say, "Oh, hey, I'm just following up to see how you are," or you know, have you made a decision yet? Follow up with actually some more value. You know, hey, by the way, I just thought I'd send you this because this actually worked for this client, and I was thinking of you the other day, and it probably will work for you. Take a look. You know, so you're always following up with a reason, because you know it's easy just to take a no and say no and think that's a no, right?
Absolutely, and people take no personally when they shouldn't. You know, we're New Zealanders. I mean, no means I wasn't ready for you.
Yes.
No means I don't understand.
Yes.
No means a number of things, but don't take it personally.
Yeah.
No might mean you didn't give me the right information on day one, or I was thinking about something else. So that's the other part. Don't give somebody all the information at once.
Yeah.
Give yourself a reason to go back a few times, as you were saying.
But I'm guilty of that. You know, I think in some industries like ours, it's quite technical, and sometimes I remember talking to you in the early days, and I think we were trying to be too smart as well. Like you've got all this jargon, but it doesn't actually help. One of the best things I've heard one of the team say coming from a meeting from you, and we were talking about Google business profiles, and we were giving you all this jargon, and you just said, well, it's like being back in the yellow pages. And everyone now uses that because it's so clear that that's actually what it is. It's the new yellow pages. You've got to be in the top 1 to 3. If you're not, well, you're nowhere. And the way you just got that across, and like everyone went, oh yeah, okay, you know, less jargon and get through to what people actually.
Yeah, you know, keep it simple.
Keep it simple. And I think that's a really good place to finish. Keep it simple. So, Mike, really appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the 100th episode. Look, once again, Mike's delivered some great advice. What are you going to do with it, though? Because it's great hearing it. How are you going to look at your business? What are you going to look to see where you could be looking at your customer service and I guess empowering your people to give that better service, become more of a problem solver? I always say to people, be curious. Be curious. Where could you be more curious inside your business? Because that can obviously open up opportunity as well. So your job now is to share the podcast. I don't know how many episodes we're up to now in this 100th episode, but you know, you need to share this. Just share it out on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and tag us in. Tag us in what you're going to do, what you're going to implement from listening to Mike. So I really appreciate you being here, and look forward to having another episode soon. But until then, have fun, take action. Paul Wright, welcome back to the Marketing for Business podcast.
Good to be here.
Mate, this is our 100th episode. I've got one question for you. What is your best business advice?
Best business advice. Well, at my age, you can look back and think, what are the things that you did well that maybe contributed to success? I think number one, which Gilbert Enoka introduced Mike and I to many, many years ago. You've got to have a plan.
Yeah.
You know, at the time we had lots of goals and dreams and things in our heads. He said, "Where's the plan, boys?" And so once we committed to paper, a few goals, a few things we wanted to achieve, everything changed. You've got to have a process. You've got to kind of document the things, and that will drag you into performing in a business sense, I think.
So was that sitting down and just physically writing out, like you got your goals, but writing out what to do next, or what was in your plan?
It became quite structured. So, you know, clearly there was goals, a few strategies, a few things that we needed to focus on. And they were always around recruiting and growth and whatever, but there are personal things that we put in the plan as well. Then there were quarterly bite-sized targets to achieve.
Nice.
Clear tasks, responsibilities, and your initials behind it. And every 3 months, we'd get together, review it, and it was always yes or no. And so when the tasks were ticked off, if we were over 70%, our business was humming.
Brilliant.
And if we like 50%, we were struggling. So two things we learned: never put anything in your plan that you're not going to do, and make sure you do 80% of the things that you say you will do.
That's a good takeaways there, because over time you kind of learn that, you know, if I'm going to write it down, hey man, I'm going to be accountable to this, and this is what you and Mike then became. You became accountable to your plan. And then, you know, you got to do things. Then 80%, and you get to that 80% of what you said you're going to do. Business is humming. That would have been. Was it quite freeing to be able to do that? Because I find a lot of times when you talk to business owners, especially when it comes to marketing, if it's up in the air, it's nothing's landing.
It's accountability. So if you find, why do gym instructors work? Because you turn up. You know, you've got an appointment, you have a one-on-one, you do it. Accountability's absolute key to staying on track and completing the. You know, if there's another learning, it's being dollar productive in your behaviour and activity. So you can tidy the office, you can lick the stamps, you can post the mail, you can do all that stuff, or figure out what you're really good at, what are your $100,000, $500,000, $1,000 an hour activities, the things that you engage in that actually derive and generate your business, your income, your success, and focus on doing those more. And they always come down to focus on those dollar productive activities in the hour. And it's always, in our case, it's always prospecting. It's always the calls you make.
Yes.
And it's doing the little things consistently. If I say to you, will you make 10 calls tomorrow? Oh, yeah, I can do 10 calls, boss. So you make 10 calls. Will that make you successful? No, it won't. If you do 10 calls every day for 365 days, will you be successful?
Yes, you will.
Of course you will. So it's always doing the little things consistently that drive success. You've got to have your bigger plan. You've got to have your process. You've got to have your structure. You've got to focus on dollar productive activities, but you still got to do a lot.
Yeah. And what was some of that? So when you started implementing that, what was some of the outcomes for the business when you started, you know, getting the plan down?
Well, we were doing everything. So we were making hundreds of decisions a day on everything. So we had to recruit talent to our team that we could delegate effectively to get rid of some of the workload. And I think if you can get down to making 3 or 4 key decisions a day, not 100, then you're sort of on track. And so we had to delegate to be able to grow, and growth for us was being, just like everybody else, knocking on doors, whether it was recruiting people to our team, whether it was recruiting officers to join our network, or whole states, as it was in Australia, or whole countries, as it was when we went to the States. But if you're flat out doing everything, there's no time to prospect, no time to do the effective.
So really prioritising what we call a level 10 activity that you're really good at, that's your sweet spot, and outsourcing the rest of the kind of the things that make you busy.
And none of it comes easy. I mean, we thought we couldn't afford it.
Yes. Yeah, that's a big one for a lot of people.
Man, right? You know, like how can we afford someone to be able to do this work and be successful, because margins are so thin, you're not making a lot of money. Every time we've invested and paid more money than we wanted to for talent, it's paid us back in spades. And every time we hired someone for not a lot of money, it cost us a fortune. So, you know, all those lessons come at a cost.
Yeah.
But pay more than you want to. Always hire the talent, delegate off to them. They'll take your business, your success to a new level.
Did you find also that when you got it structured and written down, it gave you a lot more confidence and maybe a little bit more breathing space? Because the things that were going on inside your head were down on paper?
It certainly did. And then it becomes like a formula for the whole organisation. So if everything's in our head, you can't get it across to anybody else effectively. As soon as you put it in your plan, one page, you can share it with others.
Brilliant.
Then they want to follow along. They want their own plan. And when everybody's on the same kind of platform and you've got your own personal business plan related to the business, their objectives, your objectives are congruent, then you get real power.
Yeah.
And then you're away.
So anyone listening to this, what would be the best place for them to start with that, getting their own personal plan down?
In our case, it was find a facilitator. It is quite hard to do it on your own. So find somebody in the marketplace who's a good facilitator who'll sit you in the room and say, righto, Scotty, what do you want to achieve? What sings, what hums, what clunks in your business? What are you ignoring? What are you avoiding? What excites you about the year ahead? What do you really want to achieve? What should you be doing in your business? You're not. So you get that kind of download, like a navigational check. And then the next thing is to chart, well, where do we want to go? What's the gap analysis?
Nice.
This is where we are now. This is where we want to get to. What are 3 things we can do in the next 3 months that will take us in that direction? It doesn't all happen at once. You just bite-sized pieces. But once you get that clarity, it's easier to take action. You take action, things change. And it doesn't matter whether, you might be suffering anxiety, you might have a bit of depression, you might be really kind of at odds. But if you can get it down on paper and chart a direction and you take action, you start to leave that anxiety behind. It never kind of always goes away, but I find that's how you build a bit of resilience.
I find that such great advice. We've been doing that in our business and working those 90-day periods and getting everything down. And it's been refreshing to see the level of growth we're having because of it. And not just growth in, hey, the business is growing, the people are growing. And I find that even more inspiring. When your people grow and your people are taking ownership of all those areas, the business is in good hands. Okay, I'm going to be greedy because I know you've got lots more than just one piece of business advice. What else would you say to someone?
I think that you've got to understand that business funds your life is not your life. So when you're at work really hard.
Nice.
Engage in those activities. And when you're not at work, engage in the fun activities with your family and friends. Brilliant. And if you're on a golf course thinking about work, leave the golf course, go to work. If you're at work thinking about playing golf, leave work and go and play golf.
Nice.
You need to be really in the channel when you're working, but know that work funds your life. Be really effective when you are at work, and then when you're out of work, be there to have fun, to enjoy, to be fit, to engage in all those activities. We talk about 10s, 25s, 50s and 100s. If you want to dial up a magnificent life, think about crazy things you'd like to do in the next 3 to 5 years. Climb Mount Kilimanjaro, go and spend a month in France, whatever it is. That could be 100. Buying a brand new Ferrari, that could be 100. You've got to have those things that are so big and so out there to help drag you into a future. A 10 could be having a coffee with a friend, having a massage, going to the gym. A 25 could be a weekend away. A 50 could be like a week in Fiji. Whatever it is, you write a list of 10s, 25s, 50s and 100s for you, and then every day make sure you've got a 10 in your day.
Nice.
You dial up a magnificent life by engaging in things which bring you joy and satisfaction. But when you're at work on that channel, work really hard.
So good. And the thing is, it's being intentional about that, right? Because you're right. If you're on the, and we've all had that moment when we're doing something and we're starting to think, oh, I should be doing this, but actually just take time to enjoy it. One of the greatest times I ever had was going fishing to the Three Kings. The reason I loved it wasn't because of the rough seas. That kind of put me off. But as soon as I got past the tip of New Zealand, my cell phone had no more reception. And you know what? I couldn't contact people even if I wanted to. And I let go of everything at that moment and thought, you know what? I've just got to enjoy this. Because there's no point thinking about business because you couldn't do anything about it.
I think if the other little tips which work for us Gilbert taught us to practice 20 seconds of courage every day. And that could be, if you're the person, you're sitting in the room, somebody's done something well, but no one will acknowledge it. If you can spring to your feet and be at the front of the room and say, look, I just want to congratulate on what you did. Everybody sits there going, don't want to say, too scared. You need to be the one to get to the feet and speak. And if you can speak publicly, if you can go to the front of the room, share some ideas, share some knowledge, share some skills, help other people be successful, it's amazing how that kind of strength, that kind of influence, that kind of reputation will take you places that you would only dream of.
Yeah, and it's that 20 seconds of courage. What a great thing to think about, And sometimes, I don't know my wife, she'll listen to this, but she's going to be doing a talk on Friday. And I know she just has to have that courage. And the crazy part about it is people want to hear her talk. Now having that courage to do that will set you apart, right? And
everybody starting says, I'm terrified, I'm not a public speaker, but if you're at the front of the room, never use those words because you are the public speaker. Yeah. You're the one who's got the courage to say this. Yeah. And don't worry about what people think. No. Just get up, do your best. And it's like every other skill. You practice and practice and practice, and one day you'll be a world-class public speaker.
Nice.
And that will open up a whole new business and successful life for you.
Man, what great advice. Look, I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate you coming along and sharing your best advice. I challenge people here listening to this, go back, listen to Paul's part of this podcast and start getting down your plan. Find someone that can actually help you with that plan and really commit to it. So, really appreciate that. Did you have anything else you wanted to share?
Hey, there's so much, in 10 minutes. I think keep learning. Yes. I went to a course yesterday for 4 hours and it was all related to business and strategic planning. People say, well, why are you there? You've done that all your life. Because I want to sharpen up. Yeah. I want to get better and learn what's happening.
So good.
I'm learning heaps about AI. I'm practicing ChatGPT and using it. I'm not afraid of it. I think it's fascinating, but I've got to learn. You've got to keep learning. You've got to keep putting stuff in to keep the brain going, keep the excitement going. Surround yourself with successful people, with people who are better and stronger and brighter and doing better than you, and you will become better by that association. I think if you're the brightest person in a room full of people, you're in the wrong room. Yeah, totally. And when you're in that room, add value to those people. Ask them questions and add value, and commit to keeping, and do what you say you're going to do is real. And network. If you go into a room full of people and your mates are in the corner, don't go and see them. Go and see some strangers. Introduce yourself, because all the businesses with those people you don't know, your mates will bring you no business. Yeah, you don't have a money problem. You have a people problem. So go and say hello to people that you've never met before, and you'll be surprised. The doors that open up and where that can take you. You're one conversation away, really. I know how I meet you guys from the gym. Having chats at the gym. Next minute, boom. Yeah. We're having coffee. We're doing things. So you're only that one conversation away. Yeah. Awesome, Paul. Appreciate your time. Welcome. As always, make sure you share this podcast. Obviously, this is our 100th episode. We want to make sure loads and loads of people are listening to these episodes. So go out there, share the podcast, and I'll talk to you really, really soon.